Coming up on Fulton Today, the county expands its animal control services. We'll tell you what that means for neighboring jurisdictions and find out now what you need to know about the November elections. Fulton Today is next.
From the Government Center in downtown Atlanta, you're watching Fulton Today with Shania Chavis.
Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis. Fulton County Commissioners agreed to expand animal services to a number of municipalities in North and South Fulton. So what does that mean to you? Well, those stray dogs in your community can now be picked up and placed in the animal shelter. Here now to tell us about this intergovernmental agreement is Animal Services Administrator Oliver Delk. Sir, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
So now tell us about this intergovernmental agreement and how it came to be.
The intergovernmental agreement, also known as the IGAs, is the way that the county does business with other governments, such as with the city of Atlanta. We have an intergovernmental agreement that outlines the services that would be provided with them when we're doing animal services.
And then what does the agreement include?
The agreement outlines all of the activities that we will provide to the cities, such as the sheltering of animals, also the enforcement part, which we will have our officers go out from calls that we receive from the citizens of the respective cities that may have stray dogs or may have feral cats. We'll go out, pick up those animals, bring them back to the shelter. And the another thing that we also do is we make sure that the animals receive their vaccinations. This then allows us to be able to make sure that the animal is healthy, and as well as to make sure that the animal has its license, so we can keep up with them in case there is some reason that we need to have that information. We are then able to pull it up and then provide it to the public for whatever that purpose may be.
And what about the rabies control services?
Rabies control is mandated by the state of Georgia. All counties must provide that particular service.
And Oliver, let me get your final thoughts.
We would like to let all of our citizens know that they are welcome to come out to the animal shelter. We're open 7 days a week. They can come out and see the animals that they may want to adopt, maybe a dog or a cat. We also provide the service of microchipping the animal. This would allow for instant identification in case it's, the animal, for some reason, gets separated from their owner. So we like to let them know that we also provide another service, which is responsible pet ownership, which we think is a very value-added process that we go through with our citizens before they even adopt an animal.
All right, Animal Services Administrator Oliver Delk, thank you so much for your time and for the information.
Thanks for having me.
Now, as Mr. Delk just said, Animal Services has hundreds of dogs and cats available for adoption. You can stop by the center on Marietta Boulevard or check them out online. Well, the rush is on to learn more about the Affordable Care Act. The regional director from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services joined county officials in South Fulton and offered important information about the ACA. In a little over 2 weeks, residents will be able to purchase health coverage through the health insurance marketplace. The federal HHS representative and county health officials provided information to help residents better understand the process. It was explained at the District 7 informational session that the new law is designed to help the uninsured and people who currently buy their own insurance.
There are thousands of uninsured residents in Fulton County, and so starting on October 1st, they'll have the opportunity to enroll in quality affordable health insurance for those residents that are uninsured today.
Studies show that about 20% of Georgians are uninsured. We'll hear from the district commissioner at the town hall meeting in our district by district coverage. Seniors learn how not to become victims of housing and home repair fraud. County Housing and Human Service officials hosted a session on how to guard against scams at the North Fulton Service Center. The session also covered reverse mortgage insurance and auto repair scams. Information on how to identify, prevent, and report fraudulent activity was also included. Home repair and construction scams ranked third on the national top 10 consumer complaints. And according to AARP, the elderly lose billions of dollars each year to scammers.
The most important thing that seniors can do to avoid becoming victims is to ask the caller to give their name, telephone number, and company that they are calling for. Once the seniors get the telephone number, they can call back to make sure that the company is legitimate.
The Office of Housing and Community Development can give more information on what to look out for and about upcoming sessions. The deadline to register to vote in the November 5th election is a little more than 2 weeks away. Mayoral, city council, and school board positions are some of the races on the ballot. Here to tell us about the process is Rick Barron. He is the Director of Registration and Elections. Sir, welcome back to Fulton today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
All right, so I understand from my notes that the deadline is October 7th to vote in the November 5th election. Tell everybody about the process.
Well, Shania, everyone needs to register as long as they're 18 by the registration deadline. You can register when you get your driver's license at DDS, at libraries, at schools. You can come to our office. You can print off an application on the Secretary of State's website. There are a number of places to do it.
And Rick, what about advance and absentee voting?
We will have absentee voting for the municipal election. We will have sites around Atlanta at the county annexes, also here at the main Fulton Government Center, and a couple of the other municipalities. In the city of Atlanta, we'll even have Saturday voting. Advance voting runs from October 14th to November 1st. If you want to apply for an absentee ballot by mail, you can go onto the website for the Secretary of State and download an application and mail it to us, or you can call our office and we'll go ahead and either mail one out to you or we can fax it to you.
And Rick, what do you consider to be some of the most important information that voters need to know?
The most important information I have for voters going into this election is that these municipal elections are just as important as the presidential elections, and what we want to do is serve you as we would in any other election. So we hope that you get out to vote, and because it's always important to exercise your right to vote. And we look forward to seeing you either during advance voting or on Election Day.
Wow, a lot going on. All right, Rick Barron, Director of Registration and Elections. Good information. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you can find out more about registration and the voting process by contacting the county's Registration and Elections Department. You can log on also to the Secretary of State's website. And here is some good news. For the 14th year in a row, the county receives national recognition in the field of procurement. The Department of Purchasing and Contract Compliance has received the 2013 Achievement of Excellence Procurement Award. The department was recognized for its innovation, professionalism, productivity, and leadership in the field of procurement. It is one of only 12 government agencies in the state to receive such an honor.
We're a professional organization. We strive to incorporate minority purchases in our processes on a daily basis. We are an organization that reaches out to the community to let them know about the opportunities that are available here at Fulton County.
The Office of Purchasing and Contract Compliance offers a number of bid opportunities and vendor training and workshops. You can log on to their website to get more information about their programs and services. And still to come, addressing rising crime rates in the community. It's a part of our district by district coverage next.
Fulton Today.
A commissioner teams up with justice and public safety agencies to address reducing crime in the community, and county health officials join the commission in addressing childhood obesity. Here's this week's district registry coverage.
We begin with Chairman John Eves joining forces to tackle rising crime rates. The at-large commissioner attended the first Smart Justice Advisory Council meeting. The room was filled with county and city of Atlanta elected officials, public safety staff, and citizens with one common goal: to identify ways to decrease incarceration and recidivism rates in the community.
Well, the problem is we are charged as a county to administer criminal justice through the court system, through the jail, through the public defender, the district attorney, etc. But the question is, are we doing it in the most efficient and effective way?
The Advisory Council includes Justice Department officials on the state and local level, including the 100 Black Men of Atlanta and the Georgia Justice Project. Dikembe Mutombo, an Atlanta resident and a former NBA player, is co-chair of the Smart Justice Advisory Council. He says he feels obligated to know what's going on in his community.
As they say, where I came from in Africa, they say that the child is raised in a village. For the child to be productive and becoming a great human being in a society, it is up to our duty as a human being and a citizen of the world to make sure that we pass on all of the tools necessary to that child.
Chairman Eves explained in an Atlanta Voice newspaper column that he created the Fulton County Smart Justice Advisory Council after his teenage son was robbed at gunpoint earlier this year. The chairman said this experience encouraged him to take action regarding the rising criminal activity and recidivism in our community. District 4 hosts a longtime tradition, the 28th Annual Sandy Springs Festival. It includes many activities for art lovers like the Juried Artists Market, face painting, and the Arts Chalk Walk competition. The artists are judged in 3 categories, including middle school, high school, and adult. The artists are given a 4-foot by 4-foot square and pastels to develop their work. Attendees also participate in the Doug Kessler 5K, 10K race. The Sandy Springs Festival attracts more than 25,000 people, and the festival serves as a fundraiser for Heritage Sandy Springs, a nonprofit organization focused on preserving and promoting the city. For more information, log on to www.sandyspringsfestival.com. In District 5, the Northwest Regional Library Project moves into the design development phase. During this time, the sketches of the 25,000 square foot building are evaluated to meet the needs of the library program and the community.
We are indeed appreciative of all that the program managers and architects and this great library staff have done to get us started.
Interim Library Director Ann Hames said this building will attract the teen community and small business professionals.
A place where small business owners could gather, network, could get some ideas, could find resources that would support them as they develop their businesses.
Back in July, architects shared the schematic design for the Northwest Regional Library with the community. Citizens have been included in the process from the start. They completed surveys to give designers an idea of what they would like included in the new structure. The library is expected to be completed in the summer of 2014. The Northwest Regional Library is a part of the Phase 1 Library Building Program. For more information on the Atlanta Fulton Public Library projects, log on to www.afpls.org. District 6 Commissioner Joan Garner initiates a proclamation recognizing September as Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. County health officials say obesity is a serious health problem in the U.S., and Fulton is working to be a part of the prevention battle. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 12.5 million children and teens are overweight or obese, and the numbers are even higher in the African American and Hispanic communities.
I am really pleased with the work that Fulton County is doing in partnership with our communities, because when we have healthy children, we have healthy communities, we have healthy counties, and that's what we're striving for.
In District 6, the Oak Hill Child, Adolescent, and Family Center is focused on preventing childhood obesity by offering educational programs. In 2012, Commissioner Garner participated in the Let's Read, Let's Move program launched by First Lady Michelle Obama. The program teaches youngsters to create healthy snacks, become physically fit, and to read books. More now on the District 7 informational session on the Affordable Care Act we told you about earlier in the show. Commissioner William Bill Edwards hosted the session for South Fulton citizens. The commissioner recently co-sponsored a resolution supporting the new federal health care program. He says he wants residents to have a better understanding of what the Affordable Care Act is all about.
You need to enroll by December 15th in order to get coverage by January the 1st. That's one thing I learned. And then if you have earned income and savings, they don't tax your savings. You know, you'll still get help.
Beginning October 1st, the Affordable Care Act will allow people who are uninsured to purchase health coverage, and people who have coverage can get better options.
As we go in the future before October 1st, when you go to sign up, I hope to have other information about the Affordable Care Act, and also to hear it on my email, my Twitter, my website, and things of that nature.
To find out more about the Affordable Care Act, log on to www.healthcare.gov or call 1-800-318-2596. With this week's District by District coverage, I'm Darrell Peak.
Thank you very much. And when we come back, addressing the troubling and sometimes dangerous behavior in schools. Stay with us.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Portions of the following segment are part of the Fulton County Common Ground Initiative. Common Ground, the county's comprehensive solution to the problem of health disparities in the community.
Detecting signs of mental illness in children. It's the focus of this week's Common Ground report. FGTV's Lynn Vaughn addresses the question of whether or not a child's behavior is typical or troubled.
Thanks to a brave and calm staff member, disaster was averted at a metro area elementary school last month when a troubled young man stormed the front office with a gun. And thanks to training provided by Fulton County, over 700 teachers and staff members are learning how to spot and help troubled kids before they act out.
We received a grant last year and this year in the amount of $2,000 each year to go out into the Fulton County schools and teach the typical or troubled curriculum. Last year we went into 7 schools, and those were high schools, and this year we're going into 9 middle schools.
Bartle explains there are 3 basic steps to the American Psychiatric Foundation's School Mental Health Education Program, nicknamed Typical or Troubled. The first is to notice.
Tell them that what they're looking for is not typical adolescent behavior, but it's what we call troubled. It's something that lasts longer, that happens more often. So excessive tardiness, a change in behavior, poor concentration, tearfulness, sadness, signs of depression in the classroom. Some of those can be typical adolescent behaviors, but when they happen often and they happen for a prolonged period of time, that's what we would call troubled. So first we ask them to notice.
The second step is to talk.
If you noticed something, then say something about it. So first, you could say something to the student. If you have a relationship with that young person, pull them aside, ask them, are they okay? Is anything going on in their life that's different or that they're struggling with? In addition, talk to the other school staff. Identify who are the mental health professionals in your school that you can go to talk to about students that you're worried about. And then last, we ask you to talk to the parents.
And finally, participants are trained to act.
Well, what we've asked them to do is identify who is the mental health provider in their school. So in each school that we do the training in, we go ahead and help them identify who are those mental health providers, whether it's the school counselor, the school social worker, the principal. Who is it that they would go to say, I'm concerned about this young person?
Fulton County's resources for children who may be troubled include the new Oak Hill Child, Adolescent, and Family Center and the Clubhouse for Youth. Call for help if your family needs it. There's information online at oakhillkids.org or fultoncountygahealth.org. So if you aren't able to discern whether the behavior of a child or children in your care is typical or troubled, get in touch with our healthcare professionals or visit one of our health centers. In downtown Atlanta, I'm Lynn Vaughn, FGTV.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Now, the main number to the county's health centers is 404-612-1211. The website is fultoncountygahealth.org. Well, we found some who were eating for energy, and at all places at the library. This health seminar at the College Park branch served up a huge helping of energy and information to participants.
Throw some spinach and some other vegetables in your scrambled eggs.
Holistic health coach Tanya Dura-Young cited foods that give you energy and those that sap you of your strength. She says there are metaphysical factors that cause us to be sluggish.
There are really two types of food. There's what I call primary food, and then there's what I call secondary food. And primary food basically deals with the things like your, whether you're spiritually grounded, whether you feel like you're financially sound, whether you have, like relationships that are, loving, that kind of thing. And then whether you're doing something that makes you feel like you have purpose in the world.
Those taking the class this evening were over the top in praising what they learned.
I was at the right place at the right time to receive great information.
Eating unhealthy, it does more damage than good. And the older you get, the older you get, the more it affects your body. It affects you.
Dura-Young recommends you start eating for energy by incorporating at least one green food into a daily meal. Find out more about lectures and information on eating well by visiting the library's website. The county's FAIR initiative celebrates its one-year anniversary with a meeting with its new partners. FAIR stands for Fulton Asthma Improvement and Reduction. The committee is made up of physicians, respiratory therapists, and pharmacists, all working to find positive health solutions for people with asthma. The group focused on the creation of a FAIR online hotline. Other suggestions included the use of smartphones with tips on nutrition and exercise, and links to the Affordable Care Act and uninsured resources.
One of the most notable accomplishments is happening right now. We actually launched the treatment committee, which was over a year in its undertaking. And one of the reasons why it's such a monumental task is because we have actual healthcare professionals, physicians, respiratory therapists, pharmacists, all coming together, clinical social workers, to find meaningful ways to improve health outcomes related to asthma for our Fulton County residents. That was huge.
Now, here in the county, 1 in 12 persons suffers from asthma. For more information, you can contact the Health Promotion Division. And still to come on Fulton Today, celebrating what could be the most important back-to-school supply ever. We'll explain.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Well, now that students are in full swing with the new school year, are you sure that you have provided them with what could be the most important school supply of all? September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. All month long, Atlanta and Fulton County residents are encouraged to register for a library card or update their existing card. Young students made up a significant percentage of the 4 million library visitors last year. And last year alone, library card holders borrowed more than 4.2 million items from various branches. The process to get a library card is simple.
We would like for every child to have a library card because we believe that the library card is one of the smartest school resources that they could have. You will have access to plenty of resources, online resources, and of course your non-print resources. So it's very important to have a library card.
Patrons who want to borrow any of the books, CDs, or DVDs must have a library card. There are 34 branches in the Atlanta Fulton Public Library System, and last year, 4 million people visited the various branches, and the website had over 4 million hits. For more information, visit afpls.org. And finally, even though football season is really just getting started, it's actually time to sign up for basketball season. From now until November 1st, parents and guardians can register children and teams for one of Fulton's basketball teams. Boys and girls ages 3 to 17 can play. Fees are based on the age of the player and the number of players in one's family.
Those fees will include uniform, and if your team advances to the district and state tournaments, it will cover hotel costs, traveling expense, as well as the district and state fees.
Residents must prove county residency by providing a driver's license, state ID, or utility bill. Non-residents must pay an additional $15 fee. A copy of a birth certificate is also required at the time of registration for all participants. Now, again, registration is from now through November 1st and will be held at Burdett, Cliftondale, Sandtown, and Welcome All parks. Coaches for the teams are also needed. You can call any of the parks listed for more information about fees and the process, or you can call the main office at 404-612-3753. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to hear from you about the stories and programs here on FGTV. Go to our website to take a survey, or you can email or call us. The number 404-612-8317. The email address is fgtv.feedback@fultoncountyga.gov. You can also follow us on twitter.com/FGTV, friend us on Facebook, and watch us on YouTube. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis. Thank you for joining us. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.